Hi, everybody, and welcome to Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Rueve, coming to you from jolly old London town, along with my beautiful mother, who is back home in Chicago, Illinois. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. No. Hi, Alex. Yeah, I had to get in early. We had a winter storm come in here. So we're all snowy. You're going to walk into snow.
And I'm all rainy here in the UK, but it's so perfect because it's just so English. So we have coming up this week in the transits, Venus opposition Uranus.
Sudden events in your social relationships.
Mercury Retrograde is moving back into Scorpio.
Investigate the truth.
Venus into Scorpio.
Intensity or intimacy?
The Sun square Mars.
Repress or express? Which one?
We'll be talking about some of our talisman times that are in the past, as well as a drum roll, please. There will be no talisman times this week.
Nada. I'm making some this afternoon I'll talk about, but none for the upcoming week.
Then on the horizon, both Sandy, my mom, and I will be talking about our past retreats as well as some of our events and the ones upcoming, like Yoga on the Lake in Kohler, Wisconsin, as well as our Mexico retreat happening in La Ventana, Mexico.
Yeah, that's January 5th through the 12th.
And finally, we have coming up in our house, I describe my time here in London town.
And I want to talk about that surprise engagement that happened in our family, not me or you, over the weekend.
So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys.
Well, hello, Mama. Cheers.
I know. I'm sitting across from an empty chair. It's kind of strange. First time ever. You had to call in for the podcast.
Here I am in London, England, with my half a pint of a beautiful English beer and here in one of the local pubs.
Well, cheers to my hot coffee. Cheers to you from here.
Yes. And so a little bit about the reason why I'm here in England, to all of our listeners. I am a team lead for Joe Dispenza's world tour. And so here we are. We were just in Brighton, England, which is the south coast of England. And I came up here to London to visit some friends and sightsee and get a little bit more of the big city. So
cool. It's so nice that usually I'm with you, but this is like a time where it's like, oh, Alex, go be your 30-year-old self. Yeah,
right. And
I love
beautiful.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful time because in Joe Dispenza's work, we do a lot of meditating. So I have been fully on some meditation pills every day. And so it's been a beautiful process. And I'll discuss more about that during our On the Horizon.
Perfect.
And our home. So what do you think? Should we get into the transits?
Well, today's a busy day. We better. Because actually, I've been up since 3 a.m. grabbing a lot of this. This is this Jupiter in Sagittarius, Cazimi, the Sun in Sagittarius at an early degree. That's 4 degrees. The transiting retrograde Mercury's here. Exactly at 4 degrees. So we've got 3 major planets right there moving. And this hasn't happened I didn't go back to look, but it has to have been at least 12 to 15 years ago that this occurred. So it won't occur again. So for a while.
Right. And in our last episode, we were mentioning to our listeners that you were going to be looking at their charts and talking about where their Sagittarius planets were located. You're going to be doing. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I offered, because I think it's just curious with this Sagittarius energy right now, and Jupiter being back in its home sign, the sun making its yearly transit through Sagittarius, the retrograde Mercury being back into Sagittarius, just as like, let's see if anyone has planets in Sagittarius. Now, we know the people that are born at this time have their sun in Sagittarius, but until you cast your chart, you don't know where your Venus is, your Uranus is, your Mercury, your Moon, your Saturn, your Mars, and some of those Venus and some other planets. So I was just offering to throw in those data points of anyone that Instagrams us and requests that. And then I'll make that. I didn't get a chance to do it over the Thanksgiving holiday. I did take about 4 days off. Although I was I was getting my talisman times. Yeah,
right. But you're good. So next episode, to all those people that did sign in for our Sagittarius offer, you're going to be sending, or at least just even on air, going to be letting them know if they have any planets in Sagittarius and how that might be working for them.
Yeah, that'll be next week. I'll let them know.
Right.
Yay! So actually that gives another week for more people to tag and ask and give me your birth data. And that is, your name, your birthday, month, year, time, AM or PM, and city and state. So get that to me, because if you forget one of those, I'm not really going to reach back out and say, hey, you left one of those out. And then I'll get you that information next Tuesday.
Perfect. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so that'll be our 21st. We're on our 20th episode right now, so things are just rolling along,
and I love it. It's so much fun being able to be halfway around the world and still being able to record a podcast. So
are you 6 hours ahead of us? Or
yes,
6.
Yeah,
because we're recording this Tuesday morning. This is the Tuesday
Chicago
AM,
time.
November 27th, Chicago time, so that you didn't have to stay up till midnight.
Right, and I appreciate that.
Right.
So we have in the transits this Friday, the 30th, we have the first transit that we want to talk about, which is the Venus opposition Uranus.
Yeah, so sudden events, Venus is the planet of love, money, and beauty, and it's an opposition. It's 180 degrees away from the planet of Uranus, the sudden change. So this, with Venus in that retrograde cycle for the last 40 plus days, we got this is the third pass of this Venus opposing Uranus. So we got it first September 12th, then we got it again October 31st, which, as I remind you, is the day that you had your car broken into, your purse, wallet, and computer stolen. And then it comes in on Friday, November 30th. So, will Alex's break-in be resolved? A couple question marks on there by Friday. So we'll see if something with the insurance or something with somebody's found something. Let's see if that, I would look for something to come up around that because Venus has had these 3 passes. So, I ask, what's been going on with your Venus words? Those words of love, money, and beauty. What has been in the interim? What has been in the thought pool? What have you been working on since September 12th when it first hit that? So what kind of sudden events occurred September 12th all the way up to this time that can really come to a resolve? It's like, go ahead, after much thought, and make that decision. Now, you have Mercury is still in retrograde. We have another 10 or so days with him being in retrograde, but they're kind of moving into the sign of Scorpio kind of at the same time, so that's really interesting. But let's see what direction you're moving into. You should be moving into a different direction. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Interesting. And then we have coming up Saturday, December 1st, Mercury Retrograde is going back into Scorpio.
Right. It's moving backwards from Sagittarius, where, today it's hitting all of that, the sun and Jupiter in Sagittarius, and then it's moving back because it's retrograde, right? So investigate the truth. Watch, it's research, it's review. This is still going on. So, we're still in diving into the truths. But watch Mercury rise before the sun in the next couple days. So by this weekend, if you can get up like I do early, before the sun comes up and it's clear, that you'll be able to see Mercury coming up before the sun also. Now we can see Venus rising ahead of the sun. She's beautiful and bright and sparkly. Literally, she looks like an airplane's coming at you. Mercury is not going to be as bright, but you'll be able to see Mercury coming up, say by the weekend of the 1st and 2nd. So that's on Saturday, December 1st. And then on Sunday, December 2nd at 11:02 a.m. Chicago, Venus is moving from her own sign of Libra. She's moving into Scorpio again. Now, she'll be here until January 6th. So she'll be here for a hot minute. And intensity or intimacy. It's, she wants to kind of get into, does she want to get into the drama? Does she want to get into the connection, the transformation of the Venusian power? I mean, you need both.
Yeah, and even when you say, "Oh, she's going to be in here for a hot minute," it's kind of a great description too. Is there's this like very intense moment that you have. Are you going to take that as just intensity, or are you going to engage with it and create an intimacy?
Yeah, I mean that's good. I mean she's been here before. During before she went on her retrograde cycle, so that's why some things will be like, this investigate the truths with Mercury here. Then Venus goes into Scorpio. So what is this? How can you solve? Maybe there's some issues that need to be solved that have come up in the last 2 months or so that really need more of a sculptured finality, right? And then later on Sunday, December 2nd, we have Sun is coming up squaring Mars. Now, it's a square, so this is a 90-degree angle, which can cause tension, friction, conflict. So, this Mars has just moved into the sign of Pisces, where, Pisces is a water sign. It's very calm, and smooth and beautiful to look at from the top. But when Mars gets in there, it stirs up the rapids, right? So, do we deep dive and hide where the water is calmer, right? Way underneath the surface, or do we paddle through this top rage? Do we rise up and face the rough waters? It just may be fun and exhilarating and freeing. So, and it's square to the sun. So it says, do we repress and push it down where everything is calmer and we don't pay attention to something? Or do we bring it up and say, hey, we need to express this because my primary essence, my sun, is, expansive, right? It's in Sagittarius, along with the planet, the ruler of Sagittarius with Jupiter. And so it's square Mars. So, any square is growth period. Even though it may create a little friction and a little rub and like, I don't really want to do this. But it says, hey, I want to do this. So on Sunday, later on in the afternoon, it's about 6:35 p.m., face whatever rough systems need to be a go, right?
Absolutely.
It may be fun, right? Maybe fun.
So it may be fun, or it might be incredibly frustrating at the same time. But I think, well, where I'm coming from is in this last week that I've been here in England, we've been doing some very intensive meditations. And in some of those, when you sit down for a meditation, it's not always like, you're zenned out. Sometimes your mind is chattering and you're just wondering, when is this going to be over?
In about 3.5 hours, I'm told, right?
And it's almost like you're just sitting there, but internally, you're almost like riding a Bronco and you're just wondering, like, how am I going to handle this?
Good point, Al.
That's a really good, but on the outside of that meditation was a chance for me to release and finally feel accomplished, feel satisfied with my efforts of being in that 4-hour meditation in that rough waters. But I felt so accomplished on the other side, knowing that I knew a little bit more about myself and that I could honor that. And I knew that I would be able to handle that again. So I just challenged myself in a way that, normally I would just be like, oh, and I'm done. I stuck with it. And so I think that's how I would relay either squares or that type of turbulent water.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's beautiful because a square, it makes us stand up and rise and stand strong or paddle quickly or get somewhere that we have a goal. Squares are like, do we survive this? Do we make ourselves important enough to stand up and put effort and work around it? Or do we just say, who cares, right? Because we have the choice. It's all about our attitude, right? It's our attitude.
Absolutely.
So and this really happens twice a year. So this is the time where we're getting, Mars is separating from the sun, or the sun is applying to Mars. I mean, sun is the faster planet here. But Mars is now making some, it's clipping along. It's been kind of stuck in Aquarius because we had Mars retrograde this summer, and it stayed in Aquarius for a long, long time. So Mars gets now to kind of chillax a little bit in the water sign. So, but it's coming up to hit the planet Neptune, which we'll talk about next week.
Exciting.
So talisman times, really, like there's nothing I'm going to grab this week. Now today let's talk about those. The talisman times that are coming up. We're recording this in the morning on Tuesday here in Chicago. So I have some times at 1:24 p.m. this afternoon, Tuesday, November 27th. And this is the Mars sextile Saturn. So that is it coming up. To act.
So Mars, that masculine, and then Saturn, that discipline.
Right, exactly. So to act in a rational and productive manner. So the affirmation, all is well. My actions reflect my will to be successful in all ways. I consider this work compelling and needed. So I'll be grabbing that energy. The ascendant,
that's wonderful.
Yeah, the ascendant ruler is Aries, which is Mars is the ruler here, sextile to Saturn. So to act in a rational and productive manner. So I'll grab that at 1:24.
Spot on intention and affirmation.
Is spot on an English term?
Spot on. Spot on.
Okay. Later on today at 3:57 p.m., we now have this Mercury Retrograde conjoins Jupiter. Spot on, yeah. That's Australian though, right? The intention here to imagine a fruitful partnership. The affirmation, all I do right now is put my thoughts and visions into order. I see the goal and my ideas develop to achieve this beauty. So that's a beautiful one. I'll be making those two this afternoon. But do you want to go backwards a little bit and talk about
sure.
like like I said, I've been up since 3 a.m. However, I've been on I'm just going to talk about those. Those are the papers I brought with me today. So it started off at 12:28 a.m. this morning. This again is Tuesday, November 27th, when the Mercury Retrograde Cazimi, the Sun, conjunct Jupiter. The intention to allow the subconscious to work its magic. The affirmation: I resist advice, suggestions, and opinions that are not mine. My hand is up. I have my answers. Thank you very much.
Ooh, that is great. That is incredible self-empowerment.
Right. And then at 4:33 a.m., when we had the Jupiter now coming in and the moon has moved into Leo, we got Jupiter conjunct Mercury retrograde, conjunct the Sun. The intention: to connect ideas for increased vitality. The affirmation: I feel and listen to the voice of my heart and soul. I hear what I'm saying. This makes me happy.
Yeah.
Got it at 4:33. Yeah. What were you doing?
Bright and early. I was probably meditating by that time.
And then just before I got here this morning, again, Tuesday, November 27th, at 7:11 a.m., the intention: to vision the larger scope of myself. The affirmation: when I stand and state my feelings and purpose, my thoughts follow my vision. We are one to the finish.
Beautiful.
I like that one.
I like all of these. A lot of these are reminding me of my time here in this, meditation conference.
It's true. It's so funny. Somebody said, I was with an astrologer not too long ago, and she's looking at my chart and she's looking at the seventh harmonics, and she said, do you write? I'm like, no, I really don't write. She goes, you should, Sandy. Oh my God, you should write. And then it kind of dawned on me that I write all my intentions and my affirmations. So indeed, I do.
Right.
Yeah.
And even like the way that you, the way that you speak too.
Right. Well, I don't know about that because I guess I don't hear. I just know what's going on in my head. And then whatever comes out this, hole of my mouth, I don't know what sometimes
but
I say.
I think in a lot of what you write in your intentions and your affirmations, you portray them in such a way that's so communicative. It's so conversational of, the way that your affirmations flow. It's very self-empowered and it's very exciting.
Well, I know, when I do the energy exchange, at events, when we do the green credit card energy exchange and when someone purchases an intention bracelet, then I do a energy exchange ceremony, right? And we go off to the side, and I'm now delivering, so to speak, exchanging the energy that came through me of this talisman and delivering it to the wearer. That part of that ceremony is they repeat the intention and then they repeat the affirmation, right? As if it's true, right? And I really have to say that in that moment of process, I love what I've written. And all I'm doing is writing what the planets are telling me to write, what this child, if a child were born at this exact moment in time and space, that this child would have this primary essence. And so listening to that back helps me write, because I want to now, I envision this wearer of this intention bracelet. I vision them repeating this back to me as if they're stating it. And so I make it really personal, right? I make it really personal, so I'm just looking at this one, my hand is up. I have my answers. Thank you very much. In other words, I can see someone saying that they have all that they need within them. Right. So
yeah, and I think that's a beautiful thing to be said to yourself. And I also want to take this opportunity to say that there's a new member of our Intention Bead tribe, Nicole.
Let's shout out to Nicole. Awesome. And actually, you know, she liked one of the talismans we did last week, but her birthday's coming up December 21st. And so actually, Nicole, as a little, you know, gift, I pulled up your solar return time. Now, this happens December 20th at 5:14 p.m. in Canada, where you are. And that means on the day before your birthday, because you were born at 12:13 a.m., you know, it's 13 minutes into that next day. Mm-hmm. What a solar return is when the solar sun returns to the same exact degree and minute. So because the Earth is on a wobble, we don't get that exact moment, minute, and seconds where we were born. So December 20th at 5:14 p.m., where you are, Nicole, put a little ceremony together. You know, so have it planned for sure. You know, get in there 10 minutes prior to this 5:14 p.m. and breathe in a new year.
Yeah. And you do that for a lot of people, the solar return charts.
Right. It's we have one every year when the sun returns to the exact placement. And
right,
you
so
know,
that same degree.
Yeah, so Nicole, you get to celebrate your birthday 2 days. Like most of us. So that's December 20th. I mean,
mine's more like a week.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as, you know, a solar return is one time. Sometimes it's on the same day. Let's not kid ourselves. But because you were born so early in the morning, it moved to the day before. So anyway, shout out to Nicole.
Shout out to Nicole and welcome to the tribe.
Yeah.
Also, if anyone is interested in a solar return, one definite, easy way to be reminded to get a report is to jump on our mailing list and make sure you put your birthday in there, because then I will send you a birthday reminder a couple weeks ahead where Sandy can do your chart and you know your exact solar return time. And we send you a little packet that helps guide you to building a ceremony for yourself for that year.
It's so important to, you know, I mean, all of our listeners, you guys are so aware. If you're listening, you're here to be aware. Mm-hmm. You're here to pay attention.
Absolutely.
And so this just allows you specifically to pay attention to your year ahead by welcoming it in. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's a really wonderful process just to kind of be there, be present with yourself, and really vision for what's to come and get excited. Get excited for your upcoming year and have this be a day that is pivotal for yourself.
You sound excited, Alex.
I'm very excited.
What, for some home-cooked meals? I'll have dinner ready for you when you arrive.
I'm very surprised. The last time I was in England, I was not excited about the food. I mean, I tried all the black puddings and the other things like the Scotch eggs, but yeah, I'm very impressed with the food here. I like it a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe my pocketbook is bigger rather than 8 years ago. But so yeah, on to the horizon.
Yeah, let's do it. Woo.
So your past event that you just finished up.
Well, I was 2 weeks ago in Sedona for Women Arising. We had a wonderful time. I was up making intention beads for the Venus she was stationing to move direct right on Spica. So the whole house, there was, 7 of us that throughout me making the beads, it's like pitch dark. It's like 4:30 in the morning, and they're all starting to come out of their rooms and going out onto the deck and watching Venus and Spica come up over the Sedona Mountains, and it's pitch dark. They could not believe it looked like an airplane coming at us. They're like, well, that's an airplane. I'm like, no, that's Venus. She literally is sparkling like a diamond. Yeah. And then up to the right. And actually, you could go out there and still see her. Go out and see her in the morning, more like, Well, you might have to check at 4:30 a.m., 5:30 a.m., before dawn, because she'll start losing her brilliance the closer the sun comes to the horizon. But you'll see Spica. You'll see Spica to the up above her to the right. But Venus is the sparkly diamond. She's extravagant.
And I was able to see her.
She's extravagant.
I was able to see both the full moon that we had, just a few days ago,
right, we did.
as well as Venus, because in the mornings we would wake up very, very early and be out on the beach doing a walking meditation. And that was a really wonderful thing. It was before the sun rose, and it was just a quiet, still place. And it was really beautiful just to be able to be there and just be one with either the darkness or right before dawn.
Did you see Venus and Spica?
Yeah.
Yay!
I didn't get to take any pictures.
Oh, because you weren't allowed to have your phone. You were doing deep walking meditation with Dr. Joe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And really, and one thing that I learned just mainly about pictures is that we do put so much value on those pictures, but really all we need is that memory.
Right.
Because the memory really, truly is so much better. But
right, because it holds a feeling. Yeah.
Right.
So, now we've got, and then you want to talk a little bit more about your Dr. Joe Dispenza event, or?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So it was a week-long event where I was in charge of 60 people, and
the owls?
The
Oh.
That was our call to one another, and so
do
there
it
was
again.
about
do it again.
Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo.
Oh, I like that. and there's owls I saw owls all over the studio, the recording studio here today. So. Love
did
it.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've been popping up for me. I was just in Victoria Station, just getting off a train into London, and I just turned to my left, and in one of these little gift stores, there was a beautifully, created owl that had real feathers and a big crown on its head. And so it was just so nice just to be able to see all of those owls. And really, Mom, the reason why I chose the owl, because I don't get to necessarily choose my color. My team is awarded a color, and we were ivory. And we pick an animal that's local and kind of natural to the area. So in Brighton, there was they gave us a list of all the, animals that you would be able to see there. And one was the owl. And so as soon as I saw that, I chose it because it's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites.
Animals.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I never saw the owl that showed up on a tree in Sedona, but one of our girls, Madison, said she saw this and looked up and saw the white owl with the eyes just going this way and this way, and then just flew off.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
she felt I didn't see it. I was down in my clay.
I wonder if that was me in another dimension.
Maybe it was early in the morning.
Coming to you.
It was the sun hadn't come up yet. But anyway, so owls are popping up for me too. And
I even did a little bit of research on the owls, and in either Greek, Roman, or different types of history and stories, they were considered to be almost like a bad omen because they were the bird that carried death. But it almost reminds me a lot of the phoenix, because within the phoenix, that's kind of a death symbol. It's a death and rebirth. Same with the owl, and I equated to my team that the owl is, it's known as the animal that's the most wise. There's the most wisdom there.
The knowledge.
And the knowledge, because, and I started equating it to my team, saying that the more parts of us that we allow and let go and die and, just be aware of, and even in a meditation where we're like, I'm letting go of that part of myself and, keep evolving, keep, transitioning into these new lives, that every time we open up our eyes, we're kind of this transformed being. And so we were able to really connect over all of these meditations and lectures. And we even had what was called a challenge activity, where I'm not allowed to go into the details, but
okay.
It was,
Oh yeah.
And And so I had, 60 people on my team who were really, everyone there was either challenged by, an emotional past or, a transition in their lives or even a physical ailment. And I had one woman who had been, her body had been diagnosed with MS, but she walked a 16-minute walking meditation 3 days in a row. And she was on her cane, and sometimes she wasn't even using her cane. And so it was just transitioning into this, person that we want to become. And it was just such a beautiful process to see. And Mom, you and I get to see it all the time, especially with our talisman wearers, of just people stepping into that and just giving themselves permission and feeling empowered by the decision that they're making. And so, that's a little bit about my weekend. I know that's a little general. It's not getting too much into the details, but it's just about the transformations that were had. And I'm so proud of them.
Well, I'm proud of you, Alex, for taking on a role that is so important and so revered at such an early age of 30. I'm really proud of you. You've done incredible work in your young life. Yes, very proud of you. Maybe I'll join and attend and watch you from afar. So, woohoo! Woohoo!
Woohoo! Well, thank you, Mom. And really, everyone there, and this has kind of been almost something that I've known for quite some time, is everyone is ageless. There's no age bracket that you're able to, create different things in your life. This creation is always available. But I think just sometimes society likes to tell us that we're too old for that or we're too young for that. Yeah. So, I like breaking those stereotypes up.
Right. And, I've always said, as long as I can remember, that, you're my age and I'm your age. Mm-hmm. I don't care about age. So
yes. And even I had one woman who was 78, and when I looked at her and she was either doing her meditation or the challenge activity, she was this beam of light, just the smile she had on her face and her vitality that she had. She was, and I'll tell you a little bit of a secret, but the leap
it's going
of
on
faith,
air, Alex. It can't be a little bit of a secret.
It's a little secret. It's a tiny secret that nobody would probably understand. She had to take what's called a leap of faith. And it was, if you're afraid of heights, this is something that would probably, frighten you. And she was scared of heights. And she took that leap of faith, and she was energized and excited. And so we are ageless. There's no time frame that we need to be a part of and, subscribe to. So,
well, it reminds me of my mom and dad who, 88 and slightly younger, which is my mom, that I just got back from the Thanksgiving vacation in Cincinnati, Ohio, where my mom has an annual last Thanksgiving. It's becoming annual now. You want to have a last Thanksgiving? All right, come to my house. So we had 27 people show up with, my mom's yummy food that she makes, all the recipes from her mother, my grandmother. So that we had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Me being the oldest, my sister and my two brothers all showed up. And helped and celebrated. So, and my parents are ageless. They really are. They truly are. They're with it. And my dad's doing great. My dad's doing great. He's funny as heck. And the medication's he's like, San, that glass of wine, I really want another one, but I think I'm going to pass. He's on all this new medication right now from his heart stent. So he was disappointed he couldn't have, another glass of wine. So we had tea instead. We had the British tea. Oh, so beautiful. Let's get on to our house since we kind of let's talk about yoga on the lake.
Okay, yes.
We kind of swapped. We're just...
We swapped. That was a little bit of our house.
We're not having eye contact where we know where the hell, we're... where we're talking next.
We're over the airwaves right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yoga on the Lake. It's going to be a really wonderful event. This is in Kohler, Wisconsin, and it's at the resort. And it's apparently, I haven't been there yet, but it's a beautiful view out looking this wonderful lake. And we'll be there for a few hours doing a talisman making ceremony where everyone's chart gets printed out. They are handed a raw bead of ours that they turn into their own talisman, where they're putting in their intention, their energy, their desire for who they want to become and what they want to achieve. And so this is a really sacred process for us all. We come together as a community, and those tickets, you can either find them on our website, and that's intentionbeads.com/events, or head to our Facebook page, facebook.com/intentionbeads, and you'll be able to find the events coming up there. And that's December 8th.
It's a Saturday.
In Kohler, Wisconsin.
2:30 to 5:30. And if you do come, just stick around for dinner. Let's head over to dinner and have some more chit-chat. Maybe astrology chit-chat.
Who knows?
And then the next on our horizon is the Mexico retreat, January 5th through the 12th in La Ventana, Mexico. We still have one room left. Come on. I know I've got like 4 people considering, but not until the deposit is paid. Is it yours? So still have one room left.
Of course. We would love to have you. It's a beautiful exploration of self. It's an incredible luxury eco retreat where even the products they have that they provide us for our shampoo and conditioner. I mean, my body feels so good when I'm there. And there's so many adventures we're going to be going on, and some that you can try on your own, like snorkeling and paddle boarding.
Sup board, I like saying that. Sup boarding. I was just showing my dad, like, you sup boarding in the morning when the sun's coming up, and we got the beautiful picture.
Even you did it too.
I know, but I look like the miniature one because I'm on my knees. But I'm out there. That's really me. Yeah.
But then you're just coasting by,
oh my God, so easy.
your fellow member of the retreat, and you're just like, sup.
Right. We might, we might make people do that. What if we call that a challenge? Because it is so easy. Anyone can get on their knees and go out, 3 feet in the water.
Yeah, even if you're on your knees, or even, standing is a little bit more of a challenge, but it helps give you that control of the mind body, because you have to be in that balance. You don't want to be like scared of falling off, because then your legs will start shaking, and then your body's responding to that fear. And it's a very fun thing. And really, if you even fall off, you're just falling into this beautiful sea of Cortez.
Well, but I mean, you're like, and then you can stand up to your waist. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
So it's easy. So let's move on to our house, which we kind of just talked about. But I really am interested to see by Friday if the car break-in will be resolved in some way. I just kind of feel that we'll report next week if something has occurred. I know that you have handed off 3 of the bags of the 4
bags. 3 out of 4.
That you have found in the dumpster that had happened to another group of people the same night. Although miles away. But you found their stuff in a dumpster when you went dumpster diving the day after. That was Halloween day when, that the last time that this Venus opposed Uranus. And I said, be careful of what sudden events may happen. But it has brought you to a new realization.
A whole new level of attachment and letting go, and trying to understand that that idea that some of our items define us, or even the idea that somebody in such need and in such lack can make some really terrible decisions. But it's also sometimes it's tough to forgive them.
Right.
You know? So for me, those were all the things that were going through my head.
Right. And this was property versus, personal space, right? It was property, personal property.
Right.
So a little different. So let's kind of watch that on this weekend. And then the other thing which happened over the weekend, which was, again, this Venus opposing Uranus has been in play really since September 12th. My niece, your cousin, surprisingly, was proposed to. Right. At a little a bigger gathering in the barn. He had just built this big, I don't know what you call it, like storage barn, huge, I hear, and went down on one knee and made a proposal. So that was kind of like the shock and awe of that Venus opposed Uranus. So
yeah, very exciting.
Yeah. So that's what what else for our house? You'll be home. Let's put our Christmas stuff up this weekend.
I am up for that. I'm ready to go.
Good. Other than that, what else do we have for our house? Do you miss it? Or not really?
I do miss back home. I also love traveling. So being here in London, even though it's raining and it's a tad chilly, I've been riding the trains all over London, and I mean, it is so vast. I was able to play some snooker last night. I dabbled in the snooker. It's a little bit tougher, so I was playing mainly English pool, which has a little bit different rules than American pool. But yeah, I love the camaraderie. I love the ability to just show up in a pool hall and everyone's just kind of there for the same purpose and the same activity. So, it's been a great time here.
The only way that I would show up at a bar was just to sit at the bar and belly up and drink. But to go there to do something and be productive and be a winner and be a sport.
And you also have to be a loser too. So you got to be both.
you have to be willing for a challenge and say, right. good job, mate.
Yeah.
Do they say that there?
Yeah. Jolly good.
Jolly good. Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, I miss you, Alex. I'm excited for you to be home over the next couple days. And I think we can wrap this up.
Yes. Thanks, everybody, for joining us at Astrological Intentions podcast. It has been such a pleasure to be able to speak with you from across this really big pond. Of course, reach out to us at intention_beads, as well as email us at info@intentionbeads.com. We love to hear your stories, your synastries, your absolute synchronicities. So let us know. We would love to hear more. And of course, take Sandy up on her Jupiter Sagittarius offer. Send us your birth information. That's birth date, month, year, time, and location. And we will be sure to mention you on the next podcast.
See you then. See you soon, Al. Safe travels.
Safe travels, everybody. We'll see you soon next week.
Bye-bye.